It's that time again. A new game has been released and it's unfinished. Which game? Exactly. You can name it anything from the last few years, and it's the same rant every single time. It's just another company pumping out uncreative garbage, and they're going to keep doing it. So, who cares, right? I mean, I care, and you should too. Take a moment to think about the last game that had any type of major controversy. I don't even have to name anything, because there are at least 3 awful games pumped out every year, and that's being generous. Do you remember when Baldur's Gate 3 was released and it took the world by storm? People thought it was going to change everything. Oh, it's all over. Now companies have to care about what their games have. No more open world maps that are barren and lifeless. No more boring characters that have a dead look in their eyes. No more buggy experiences with no substance. Yeah, right. Did people really think this one game was going to change anything? Yeah, it won a ton of awards and they're all fully deserved. Larian built a game that is community driven and with no paid DLC because they wanted to
make a game that they wanted to play themselves.
And that's a great mindset to have. I wish more developers felt this way. Wait, they do. You just have to look in the right place. But more on that later. I wish these AAA companies cared about their player base enough to release compelling games, but they're not going to, so let's stop expecting them to. I'm sure you've heard the term, vote with your wallet, which resurfaced during the Switch 2 announcement. People were pissed about the prices and urged others to hurt these companies in the most impactful way. Their money! And I absolutely agree. I am not a contributor to the enshittification of video games, and yeah, the community to some degree caused it. These companies were always going to turn greedy, but if they know that customers will buy anything regardless of the content, they're gonna keep doing it. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 didn't make the change that people expected, and it hurts my soul because we need more games like that. Anyone who's played it will sing its praises, and it's all well deserved. So if you haven't played it, please do. It's like Repo and Content Warning, which blew up in popularity because of how fun they were. Granted, these are in a different category, but the principle stands. The developers cared about making a great user experience, even when those same users bitched and moaned like the entitled little assholes that they are. Just because you supported a creator doesn't mean you're entitled to personal attention. You don't get to make demands, but I digress. Video games are a luxury. It feels like a shitty thing to say in a time where the world sucks as much as it does, but it's true. Especially now more than ever. The newer generations are stuck doom scrolling and buying useless shit, which is also bad. They're not spending on the typical video game. They're not compelled to like we are, so this video isn't for them. We find solace in video games because it's fun and it reminds us of a simpler time. FOMO is a powerful motivator, it's very real, and unfortunately something that makes people more susceptible to spending on something they don't need to. During the Switch 2 announcement, the internet was shouting, "Drop the price!" and yet it's still sold out. People lined up for hours to buy this expensive console, which was also a sign that the bubble that's been built around the internet isn't real. It's just an echo chamber filled with a portion of the population. Gaming isn't great nowadays with inflation and all that. You're spending 80 to 90 clams on a game that isn't even in the game. You just get a digital license on a console you can't modify or else Nintendo makes it unusable. Imagine that. You spend several hundred clams to support Nintendo, and if they suspect any foul play, your shiny new toy becomes a shiny new piece of plastic. Useless plastic. Useless to some degree since you can recycle the parts, but it's so far behind from the other consoles, you wouldn't really get much out of it. It becomes an expensive door stopper. Insane. If it's good graphics with portability that you want, get a Steam Deck. You can absolutely modify and emulate Nintendo games on there. Games cost more because the companies are spending more, which is why they need to make them more expensive. Really? They're making these incredibly massive open world games that they proudly announce are 5 times bigger than the Skyrims, but they're all barren and bland. We have a lot of character customization, just like Baldur's Gate 3 did, Dragon Age. But when the writing sucks, if you fire your writing team, don't expect your game to be any good. But yes, the excuse was that games were expensive because of the labor and materials, the boxes, the booklets, which are not a thing anymore, and cartridges cost money to produce. But somehow, conveniently, digital games are still the same price. It feels like an excuse. It is an excuse. It's an excuse to overcharge on something that's easy to make. It's the same with the whole inflation argument. They're complaining that they're not making as much money because of it and have to raise the price to offset that loss. You don't have to do that. You're saving money by slashing 16 to 30% of your staff anyways. Because of what? Budget cuts? Sure, I guess. But then you're making your games huge, overpricing them, and then lose a couple $1 million when your company is worth several billion. Oh, boo-hoo, cry me a fucking river. To make matters worse, they're doing budget cuts for their employees, but the CEO and the rest of those in the ivory tower are making the same amount of money. One of the things that I respected about Nintendo back then was when the Wii and the Wii U underperformed, the CEO, may he rest, cut his own salary in half to pay his employees. He knew that he could afford to make less to keep his people employed. He did that at least twice. You don't see anyone doing that nowadays. It's all, oh boo-hoo, we're losing money, I guess the employees are gonna have to get fired. What? It's clear that money is all they care about. It's evident in their business model. It's evident in the games they produce. And this is what pisses me off about video game trailers and all the hype built around them. That it's like, oh, this trailer looks so good. Check out these action scenes. But I'm like, it's a trailer. This is not a reflection of the final game. We're not getting a lot of gameplay. Where's the gameplay? This is a specially curated video where they're not going to show you the bugs, or the glitches, or the frame drops. And I don't want to bring Cyberpunk into this because they're not a good example. They're a good example of releasing a game when it wasn't ready, but the reason I don't want to give them shit is because they fixed it later. The same with No Man's Sky. It was terrible at launch and for a while longer after that, but then they fixed it. They both realized what they did and improved it. Though to be fair, it might not have happened if the audience didn't fight back. Who knows? We're living in this timeline. The same can't be said about other companies. Those are the games I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the indie developers that redeemed themselves because they cared enough to fix it. Yes, releasing an unfinished game is still bad, but they did more than others have done, which is listen to the community, the consumers, to clean up the mess they made. Microsoft and Sony don't even do that. It feels like it's so much to ask for someone to release a finished product, but it's not. It's the bare minimum. Hardware scarcity is another interesting point. Consoles are so overhyped. When the PS5 was released, there were people chasing down the trucks because they wanted one. I remember watching video after video of what seemed like GTA 5 footage. The Pro came out, and they compared the visuals, and the changes were minimal. I hate the type of person who's like, I have to play my games in 4K and 60 frames, or even 120 frames consistently. If it drops to 30, ew. And it's like, when did we become so entitled? And I say we as in the community, but I'm not like that. As long as the game looks pretty, and I can play it with no glitches, and the colors look nice, I don't care. And I can't imagine going through life and thinking, hey, this game is nice, but I can't enjoy if it's not in 4K. Oh, it drops to 55 frames because something is loading? Oh, hell no. Like, damn, bro, I could never be that entitled. I would never want to be that entitled. If I'm ever that person, slap me across the face and tell me, hey, remember where you came from. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because you have to give yourself what you deserve. You are worth it, and that's something that everyone in my life has been trying to drill into my head. But I get it. And I've been kind of sliding into that mentality a little. If I ever buy a Switch 2, I'll definitely get a screen protector in case for it. I'll get it when they release the Switch 2 OLED though, because I know they're gonna do it. The first one has an LCD display. Brother, they're thinking of upgrading that shit. They'll upgrade the hardware too, so just like before, I'm going to wait. Even if I could afford it now, I still would. I'm doing this because I don't want to support what they're doing right now. One vote doesn't matter, but it makes me feel better because I don't represent anyone else. I represent myself, and I care about my decisions. So if you're buying modern slop and are getting upset because you got scammed, I don't feel sorry for you. You chose to screw yourself over and encouraged companies to continue to do it. I mean, Activision has a track record, and yet people still buy Call of Duty despite it being the same BS every year. And it's not even because, oh, I have to buy the new game. It's sometimes because, oh, the old servers are not up anymore, so you have to get the new game. And people keep buying this game, and the companies keep getting away with it. It's incredible. So what can you do? Well, stop buying these games, for starters. Stop supporting these terrible companies. Replacing solo experiences with sloppy live service games that'll cost you more in the long run and might be removed in the future is a special kind of masochism. Expect things like Call of Duty to be replaced by a new experience you'll have to buy another battle pass for. And that doesn't include the insane amount of microtransactions in every single modern game these days. Remember what happened to Concord? Within like a month, that thing was shut down and people spend money on it. But who cares? Sucks to be you for buying another live service game. And a hero shooter too. Fucking Christ. Terrible, terrible. I just don't understand why people choose live service games over solo experience. They're draining. They're so draining. The biggest one that comes to mind is League of Legends, which I can speak of from experience. But it's free! Oh, the game is free! Is it? If you're susceptible to buying cosmetics, no it isn't. If you're an addict, no it isn't. There are at least 100 champions, and the number keeps growing. You're going to love more than one of them, trust me, you will. Which means you're going to want to buy skins for more than one. I've never spent a single bit of my own money on this game, but I could sense how easily I would slip if I did. People would buy me gift cards for, birthdays and such, and I always knew exactly what to spend it on. I have at least 8 characters that I love, because I always chose 2 per lane just in case somebody took the character. So trust me, that's already a lot of money. I was going to reinstall the game so I could show you my collection, but that's a slippery slope. I was selectively addicted to the game. I wouldn't enjoy it on my own, God no, not even TFT, but if someone else joined me, we'd play that shit for hours. The moment I open the game, it's over. It's over. I'll rekindle that addiction the moment the sweet, intoxicating scent of Runeterra enters my system. That fucking sound effect when you open the game, that ching, that's all it's gonna take. That's all it's going to take. I'm not even gonna look it up, because I know myself. Oh my gosh, I had the pleasure of enjoying it during the pandemic. So yeah, no thank you. And don't get me started on games that had potential, but then shot themselves in the foot. I know it's difficult for a lot of people because of their crippling addictions to getting rammed in the ass, so if you absolutely must spend your hard-earned money, then purchase something meaningful. If it absolutely has to be video games and not like food, stop pre-ordering shitty games and buy indie ones instead. There are tons of them on various platforms, many of which I'm sure you'll love, many of which become free or have discounts at some point during the year. Focusing on smaller, more compelling games could enrich your gaming experience. By concentrating on what you have or what's available in the indie scene, you can discover new favorites or rediscover old joys, which, in your backlog. You'll be saving a lot of money too. You'll finally get the most out of the games you've already invested in, which could help you be mindful of consumption rather than chasing new releases. By choosing not to support AAA companies, we can send a message that we value quality and accountability over graphics. It's about voting with our wallets and prioritizing developers who actually care about their craft. This mindset, on a larger scale, could change the industry in the way that Baldur's Gate 3 should have. Many of these games are much shorter, much cheaper, but will provide a far larger value in your life. These games are developed by real people who understand what it means to be human. It's not some faceless company with hundreds of slaves working underneath their thumbs that are not allowed to be creative. Indie developers are often passionate individuals or small teams creating games that resonate with players on a personal level. By supporting them instead, we can directly contribute to their creative process and help to foster a more diverse gaming landscape. This is about respecting creative autonomy and appreciating the work, and definitely not dictating creative direction. It's heartbreaking to read/watch reviewers make demands as if it was their right. Creativity is best seen when an artist isn't defined by expectations. If we want to see greatness, we need to allow them to spread their wings. I've never seen an instance where breathing down someone's neck has resulted in passionate work. Let's be patient with indie developers, because they're human beings and deserve a modicum of respect at the very least. I haven't tried as many indie games as I should because I can't afford these little luxuries, but I want to someday. If I'm ever wealthy enough to have money to burn, you bet I'm going to fully support great developers. I do have some recommendations that I've personally enjoyed. Never mind the possible insanity the fandoms might be full of, but that's fine. I don't interact with them, so I don't really care. I enjoy games for what they are, the themes they provide, so, I've got my list. My full list is way, way, way larger than this, but these were some of my favorites, along with just others that helped me think or, I was able to just enjoy in general. Stop buying the latest bloatware from Sony and Microsoft. Get your life changed with some far more enjoyable indie games. And please, for the love of all that is holy, finish your goddamn backlog.